Where did Brett go?
I mean, that makes the whole conversation null and void.
Bye, Brett.
Yeah.
Hi, Brett.
There he is.
Disappeared immediately. Come on.
Perfect start. Is this how all Full to Tools recordings go?
Pretty much,
No,
yeah.
They're normally far less organised. So I managed to mute the tab before you clicked go, so I can't hear myself twice like I did last time, which was really confusing.
Yeah, I'll remind you in a few days to unmute it again so that you.
Yeah, I was not pleased about that last time.
You are not the only person, or you're not the only one of our previous guests who's done that as well.
No,
There's been a few.
3 or 4
that's
so
you
far.
when I realised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to. How do I make that go away?
We are live now, Steve.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I can see myself on the thing, and it's really distracting. I'm trying to make it so I can see the chat and reply in the chat without seeing us because I'm like a fucking magpie.
This right now, this moment is more like our recordings. Where Steve just goes, "Oh, hold on," and then out of nowhere we'll go, "Hello, welcome."
So, what are we talking about? Have we got a
I don't know.
subject?
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the delightful action of milking a goat and then drinking said goat milk like 3 hours later.
But we don't have any female goats.
No,
I was waiting for it.
this is a
I'll
new
say it.
thing for me. This is a new thing for me. And I was going to talk to Al about it in the very near future, but we're all here and he's drinking something very creamy, so it just reminded me of it.
It's from Irish goats.
So for the benefits of anyone who's perhaps still hasn't caught up with this week's Fools with Tools, shame on them, of course. Brett, you are currently not in
this week
Joshua
out yet?
Tree.
No, I am in Tennessee, in an area that will remain hidden. Some people kind of know where it is, but anyway, for the sake of privacy, I am in Tennessee, and Miss I. Jessup and I hopped in the car in Joshua Tree and drove straight for 35 hours amidst some kind of icy weather, and definitely didn't make as good of a time as expected, but we showed up to hang out with Annabelle Trades, and she was kind enough to open up her home to us, and it's been 2 days now. Yeah, I think this is day 2. And yesterday was a lot of meeting each other and catching up on energy levels and stuff from driving, and now we are really starting to get some little projects going, and it's been helping Anne with her general farm chores is hilarious because it's just something I haven't done since I was in Kansas as a young lad. But yeah, we're gonna now start finding time. I think they were carving a spoon when I came in here because Anne is a very talented woodworker and knows her business. But I helped weld up some necessary equipment for the forge so that we can get that set up. And then I think after I'm done here, we're going to be hitting some metal.
Nice.
And I'm very excited. And we're here for at least a few
not with the
more
carved
days. So.
spoons, I'm guessing.
That's the plan. We're going to... Well, no. It was carved spoons, learn that, and then start any fires that we need to with the spoons that we carve. Because, like, who cares, really? We can just make more of them.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Did go to a flea market yesterday, and I was hoping that maybe we could happen upon a coal forge just to see. Unfortunately, we did not find one, but she has so much scrap and stuff left over that I was like, hey, we've got tinder forever, and then we just need to find some coal, which, come to find out, Tennessee is a massive coal production state, so that would have been really easy too. But
nice.
Steve didn't send enough good vibes my way to find a coal forge, and he's not going to come here and build one because he's too busy hanging out with his other friends, I guess.
You joined us.
Yeah, I'm here.
Steve, do you know what the Latin is for the European magpie?
I do not. What is the Latin
It's
for European
Pika
magpie?
Pika.
That was exactly what,
Which is
what I
amazing.
said to Steve when he joined. Said he looked like Ash Ketchum.
There you go. He does look like Ash Ketchum.
I don't know if I can catch him. It's just a red hat. And Caro said that as well.
You did make a Pokemon reference recently in the in one of our episodes, so it makes sense.
Did I?
Yes. Were you there?
No.
Were you present, Steve?
Brett, come on.
You might be able to forget it.
Long enough by now.
Yeah. Why do people think that I remember what I say? I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying as I'm saying it, let alone afterwards. Like,
That's why the
Your
recording
ears aren't connected to your mouth.
what? Sorry, both of you said things at the same time. Then I went, "What?"
I said your ears aren't connected to your mouth.
No, they're not. I don't know what my ears are connected to be fair. So yeah, what have you guys been up to?
Al doesn't even have ears. Yeah, what's everybody else been up to? Like Andy and Jamie, I haven't seen you guys in so long, and not to take over asking for the other boys, but I haven't seen you guys in forever.
It has been far too long.
Yes.
Andy, have you knocked down your playlist yet on YouTube? Like every time it seems like you're 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Let's have a look. Yeah, kind of working its way back down. I think my one tab on the PC, which is the big one, the one behind me, is now at 900
9?
something.
That's not bad.
Well, it might be 800 and something.
Ooh, making progress.
Knock it down by
Yeah,
adding zeros.
it's
to
something
the
like eight something. So I'm almost
The danger of
caught up on
having
YouTube.
like, oh, my list on this computer. It's like I've got like bookmarks on different browsers, and it's like
Yeah.
I need to read all these websites. They're the ones on Firefox.
Well, there's another 400 and. Let's have a look.
nothing.
On this computer, I've got my one tab is 476.
You can do that kind of stuff in the weekend.
Well, you see, I've started using Chrome's tab grouping, so I can then just group them into, clumps.
Because then it's
of
less.
things that I'm
There's
never
less if
gonna-
you put them in groups.
Exactly that. So then you've
Yeah.
got more. It's it's cutting the cake slice smaller, so you can have more of them.
See, I've got a very different approach. I just send Jamie a text and say, "Can you remind me to read that thing?" And then just
You
leave it
do.
at that. It's much
But,
easier.
like half of my notifications on my Google Calendar are remind Steve about this, remind Steve about that.
It's much easier because then I don't because then when my computer crashes, I don't lose all my things because they're in Jamie's head. It's much easier.
Your virtual assistant does it all for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not virtual. He's a real boy.
Yes, we-
The world's finest biomedical engineering.
I really hope not.
It's a work in progress.
Under development. This is the beta.
I think pre-alpha at the minute.
Yeah.
So serious question then. I've actually got a couple of questions, or a question at least, because I thought may as well.
Are we allowed to do that?
Because we are allowed to do that because it's our show, Jamie. Did you not know? So we are
Does
allowed
that mean
to
we
do
can
that.
try if we
I'm
want
not
to?
sure if it is this
Yeah.
week. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm on the top row. And
You are.
I'm in the middle. I feel
You
like
are.
I'm in charge. This is great.
Oh no, that's so we can keep an eye on you.
that
There's
episode
someone
of the
on
young
each side.
ones when they go on University Challenge, Steve. You can't just kick through the roof.
Shut up,
I
Nick.
went, wait, ow.
Which I'd never watched University Challenge, but I had watched the young ones, and I didn't get that joke. So I didn't realise that they weren't above them.
Tit.
Nobody did. Nobody.
Yeah.
Everyone thought that it was double tier.
I don't think that Brett's just looking, going, "What the
Yep.
fuck are they talking about?"
What's the young
No,
one?
this is
What's
the
University Challenge?
portion of what I expect will happen many times where I just zone out completely.
What was the question? Sorry.
Oh, I don't know. I've forgotten. No. Yeah. I want to sort of a serious point. I mean, you guys have been going now as the Full Tools podcast has been going for 212 episodes, which together
about
as a
200
team, you've
So
been going
next
for
one-
about 200.
Yeah, next one will be 200 together
That's
because
the
I
trio?
joined at 13. Which, hey, sorry, Andy, to remind you of the planning of 13, but yeah, They planned it around the 13 thing, and now we're going to be 200 episodes. That is bonkers.
Yeah. 200, so 200 episodes together as a team, 212 episodes for the podcast overall, and so therefore for Steve. Excluding, of course, we've got 211.
Steve's been there for about
210, because the girls...
you're referring to the best episodes of the podcast. Yeah, there's only been
a couple of really good episodes with two.
2 or 3 really good ones.
You've got there's a Facebook group which has 688 members. As of about 40 minutes ago.
Oh,
now I know there's some duplicates in there because I'm in there twice. I know I'm in there twice.
Of course you are.
So there's a few duplicates. So yeah, we might be talking 88 people. But yeah, that is no mean achievement. Yeah, that is. You guys have established
You've got a lot to answer for. That's what he's saying.
To be fair,
I was going to say you've established a fantastic community which has grown around the podcast, which has developed into things like the Fools with Tools treasure trade.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Facebook group is more down to John than any of us.
Oh, yeah, undoubtedly.
Would John have started a Facebook group on his own?
I mean, I'm pretty sure John would start anything on his own if he was given the opportunity.
True, with the right incentive.
Well, he had that run at the H.P. Lovecraft Appreciation Association, but it didn't turn out super well. Sorry, John. There were already too many other groups with better acronyms existing.
As John pointed out, we've also got there was Schools for Fools in 2020. Which obviously lasted for a little while and was very good. Yeah, I can't imagine that any of that was actually planned.
No.
As in, like, planned beforehand or planned?
Yeah, beforehand. It wasn't planned beforehand. Oh, if it was, I mean, just stroke of genius in terms of achievement.
Back when me and Rob started the podcast, that was the end goal. Is to
you had a series of goals laid out.
Yeah.
As soon as there's a pandemic that hits, we'll do this thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So what you're saying is that Rob started the pandemic to eventually get the goal done. Okay.
To get Steve to learn Fusion 360.
I think when the first episode I went on with you and Rob, you were just talking about whale spunk and spoons.
Well, we've already done spoons and milk and goats.
I don't know why anyone listens to us. Although I still believe that the best episodes that we had were when either me or Al were running on like 2 hours of sleep. And you get to that kind of point of mania, especially because if both of us are completely knackered and not making any sense, Brett's just sat there going, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? And getting more and more confused and more frustrated, like, what the fuck? And I think those are spiffing.
Oh. I will say I never expected the Facebook group to do what it's done, and yes, that has a lot to do with the community in general, how we've somehow everybody found just a common ground. And if it wasn't us, I do think with the growth of the community as well as the pandemic, I think somebody would have figured out something to create, to bring all the weirdos together. But we all had delightful conversations on first meetings, being able to do Maker Central twice and have a recurring meeting at least after 1 year. It really started to create this tight-knit group of weirdos, and we're all antisocial or hermitish oddballs. We found a common ground. It happened to be surrounding our goofy little podcast that Steve started. But every single person that I've met or talked to that's joined the group or hears about us in some capacity, they're cut from the same cloth. So again, just it's a common ground. Podcast happens to be the title of everything, but we would have found each other somehow. But I love how the stars aligned in such a way to to where we became the place for the
Yeah, you guys
the
just had
odd
the biggest
ducks.
kitchen and had the drinks already up on the counter ready.
That was
We all
it.
just kind of turned up and didn't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it.
The schools with fools thing, and I admit that the treasure chase is my favorite thing that's come out of being part of the show and just being part of the group, is the amount of hard work that you guys all did this time round to make things run smoother, which I don't know if they did run smoother. I'm going to assume they did, as compared to last year when I felt like Ellen was getting taken way through the ringer. But I've told so many people that don't know about the podcast that are in the maker community what we do with the treasure trade, and everybody reacts the same way. It's just like, wow, that is a super cool idea, and why wasn't anyone else doing that? Come to find out, this year a handful of gigantic YouTubers did something very similar. Colin
Yeah,
Furs, I
between like
remember seeing
6
that
of them, not
Yeah.
140.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they have done that before as well, though, haven't they?
yeah.
They
This
did
was
that last year as well.
possibly it was definitely the second. May even have been the third year running.
Well, ours is better, and everybody knows it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I mean,
Oh,
there's
it's just got more people.
I'm not saying it
there's a
was
Secret
first
Santa
and
on
bigger.
Reddit
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, but
But-
see, one of the things that I love most is the schools thing, and just because of the fact that it created these little like niche groups that then expanded, like we did with the photography one recently, like, and the fact that that little group chat is still going, and people are sharing, and you know, if and I've said this so many times, but if anybody out there wants to set up another, like, if someone goes, actually, you know what, this year I've learned a lot about whatever, like, fucking, I'd quite happily set up a group hangout and get another class going. It doesn't need to be during the midst of a global pandemic. Like, I think it's just a
Absolutely,
really nice way of sharing it. And whenever I talk to people outside of the community and I say, you know, talking about something, and you know, I say, oh yeah, I learned 3D modeling and CAD. Oh, cool. Where did you learn that? So, well, a group of us got on a
Skillshare, and you can
Yeah.
get 2 months. free.
and but kind of
Better than
like say,
some big airy fella.
ooh, yeah. Well, remind me in a minute to you two to tell you about the email that I got from someone that wants to sponsor us. That's hilarious. But
Other podcasts are available.
yeah, but yeah, no, like telling them that that, you know, it was a group of people that I met on the internet that we all jumped on a hangout because one person knew how to do a thing and we all wanted to know how to do a thing. And whilst we were doing that, we were also actually learning French. And because the French teacher also knows Japanese, and one of the guys that wasn't in the French class but wanted to learn Japanese started having private lessons with the French teacher to learn Japanese, and now they've set up another podcast where they talk about
It's the Danish
Most-
fella, right?
yes. But yeah, like it's fucking awesome, like how that's spiraled off and made other things happen. I think it's fucking
Well,
incredible.
that's a very, very good point, because the whole thing with the CAD one, it was always done on a Monday night, and like we did the 15 weeks or something I did of that, and then Duncan took over and did like another 3 weeks or so
Yes.
of doing specifically Fusion for 3D modeling, for 3D printing, and then because we just got into this habit of always hanging out on a Monday night, even because that was started in March 2020, and even at this point now in nearly March 2022, we still all hang out on Discord on a Monday night.
Yeah.
You know, it's just become routine now for us.
Yeah, which, and because I think it was on one of the episodes that we did a little while back, like we kind of said, like, that's actually a really important thing, especially in this day and age, and in the midst of social distancing and not being able to go out like we all used to. I think having that kind of regular contact with people is really important, because it means that you don't get into a cycle of isolation. And yeah, like just having that, it's a good like check-in. So anything you can do like that, whether it is a hangout for Fusion, or whether it's learning French or Japanese or whatever, but just starting your own podcast and hanging out with two mates just to just to chat for a bit. Like, and I love the fact that you guys have it and you bring someone else in on that chat every week as well. Like, it's a really cool thing to do.
And it's entirely because of you lot.
Oh God, I'm sorry to everybody.
Just because you wanted something better out there. Like,
Blame Rory.
Yeah, blame Rory. Fucker.
Yeah, it really is. Take it back to the beginning when Al's messaging me about Green Fire, and it's like, who is this guy? Oh man!
You look at how much you guys have kind of spawned. You know, at least our podcast and 2/3 Focused. You know, that's guys have all met because of you lot. You know?
Gosh, I remember chatting with Jan outside of the Hilton for a good stint of time, and he was the best dressed of anybody there, which was, you know, pretty unfair to the rest of us who were trying to look presentable. And then he showed up wearing a waistcoat, looking all kinds of nice. And now, like, how did he get dragged into hanging out with Rasmus? We all know Red's cool, but like...
Yeah, but I think you find, like, especially podcasts that have, like, 3 people on, they've always got, like, 2 cool people and 1, yeah.
Get out of here, Steve. Just because you guys are the English majority.
It doesn't work for our podcast, though, does it?
Well, no, that's why you invite the people that you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
but we'd still need to have 2, though.
Us 3 are the Rasmus of your podcast. Or the Brett, whichever.
the running gag that Rasmus is always at the tail end of these jokes, even though we all love him.
But that's why.
I'm not allowed to tell him that.
Oh God, he's listening. Right? Don't. The L word didn't.
He's
get
not
dropped.
actually
edit
listening.
that out, Andy. Can you edit that out, please?
He's in the chat and
Yeah.
he's just chatting shit. He's talking about knives and how many knives he's got. Look at me, I've got 15 knives. Yeah, but they're not axes, though, are they?
Yeah, you didn't even
I
have
put
to
one of
put
those
handles
pieces
on
up.
them. Like, what's he got to complain about? No
Yeah.
handles.
Can't cut a tree down with a knife, can you?
You can if you got big enough
Well,
arms.
not quickly.
Apparently, right, the little finger out, Al, reminded me. Because everyone says that's it's because I'm posh and that's why I stick my little finger out. Apparently, it's because back in ye olde times when everyone had syphilis and everyone was a lot more promiscuous, it was a sign to say
You still had your fingers.
no, it was a sign. So if you were like flirting with someone and you took a drink and you had your finger out, it was basically, just so you know, I have syphilis. So if we have sex, you will as well. And that's why you stick your little finger out. So every time you stick your little finger out, it's announcing that you've got syphilis. The more you know.
Well, on that whole thing, do you know where that comes from? As a good luck thing, or as a
That's a thumbs up for those who are listening.
Yes, good point. Yeah, the whole thing with the thumbs up is from the Romans. So you used to get that kind of thing at ports and stuff. It would be a thumbs up and then an arrow pointing where the nearest brothel is. And the whole kind of good luck charm of like sticking your thumbs up was basically saying, yeah, mine still works.
Amazing.
So Hadrian's Wall used to be rendered
Full of
when it was
brothels.
built. And yeah, just on the one side of it. But yeah, the whole wall was rendered. And they used to draw cock and balls as like the good luck charm as you were
Brilliant.
sort of going through, and that then became the doing the thumbs up is basically cock and balls. Mine still works.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Actually, saying that, was it one of you two that sent the thing about where the word goodbye comes from? Is that either of you? No. So goodbye.
God bless you.
Oh yeah, you
No,
sent
God bless
it.
you.
God be with
Did
you.
I send it? Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
you
it's
sent
not.
it to us in the chat.
Yeah, it's God be with you. But someone like
Text speak.
basically the end of a letter, rather than putting God be with you, put
Contraction.
God be W Y.
Like we, yeah.
Ye.
So, yeah,
Could be we.
and it became God we, which just kind of morphed into goodbye, and that's why we say goodbye. So there you go.
Stupid etymology.
I fucking love etymology. It's such a
And then
cool
the Americans
subject.
came along and spelt it differently because they're not bothered. Fucking idiot.
Well, that was the whole thing, wasn't it, with the American spelling, was to distance themselves from Britain. So they took all of our old
But
spellings.
laser still stands for something.
Yeah, exactly.
But they took all of our spellings, standardized it, made them nice and simple, and then we decided to make ourselves a standard kind of bit of language after America had. And then just
I mean, I
tried to
don't
kind of
blame them. I think it was red.
Francofile it all, make
Yeah.
ourselves sound posher and stuff like that. So
We don't sound posh.
Well, based on Steve
of
and
the
Al,
four of us,
it
we don't sound
hasn't
much.
worked.
I think it was Red was going on about the OUGH in English and how
Yeah.
it can be like said 6 different ways.
have you
Rough,
seen
tough.
the Dave Gorman bit on that? On I think it's the first episode of Modern Life is Goodish. He talks about that particularly because he got off the train in London and there was Loughborough University
I was
campus
going
in
to say,
London.
it had to be Loughborough.
And he said on more than one occasion he's been stood there and seen some very, very confused American tourists looking at this, trying to figure out how to say it.
Loughborough.
And they've actually stopped him and said, "Excuse me, young man, how do you pronounce this word?" And he's basically said it's pronounced Lowbrow University, so because that's basically it's both a lie and not a lie at the same time. But Luga Baruga is another beautiful way of saying it.
Yeah.
I just remember
This-
going to the most beautiful service station I've ever been to when I was traveling with Al, down to Steve's, and then asking him to pronounce the word for me because it was Gloucestershire. And then he goes, "No, it's just Gloucester." Like, what?
Yeah.
That doesn't have near enough letters in it to be correct.
Yeah.
My friend who I work with, he's originally from South Africa, and but he's been over here for like 21 years or something now. But when he first landed over here, he was a truck driver, and the guy basically said, "Oh, take this truck up to Leicester." So he's trucks off, gets up to Leicester, or gets up to the motorway junction that he was supposed to be turning off at. Rang his boss up and says, I don't know where this Leicester place is. I've got to a place called Leicester. Is it anywhere near there?"
Brilliant.
There's a wonderful poem. I can't remember who wrote it, but there's a superb poem that
Michael
is
Rosen.
really long that kind of lists all the different spellings of the
Yeah.
English language. And at the school I used to work at 20 years ago, they actually had a student, one assembly, stand up and read the entire thing out. Flawless. I mean, the thing takes like 10 minutes to read out
Yeah.
because it's stupidly long. And it's got to be that kind of hardest piece of poetry for any non-English.
I was born here and I
Studying
struggle to
people,
read it, never mind
yeah.
speak
I was
it.
just like, I can't fucking hell. I can't manage 10 minutes of speech without fucking up what I'm saying, let alone
10
reading
words
something
is a struggle,
off the script.
Steve. Come on.
I think it might be my favorite recurring thing that happens naturally. When we start the podcast, Al gets an alliteration ready. Steve can't read it, asks for a definition as if he's in a spelling bee and that will help him. It doesn't. And then we start the podcast and then he immediately mispronounces the thing that he just figured out how to pronounce. And we all have a good laugh. It happens in the span of 30 seconds and it's my favorite thing every single time.
It's because he comes up with the most ridiculous fucking alliterations. And also, I asked for what it is because I'm genuinely interested in what a is. Whatever it is. I was trying to
We only had that once.
I'm trying to think of what they were and I can't remember any of them now.
It's a fishmonger or whatever it was a few weeks back, and Steve's just like, "What's that?" And you're like, "Manga."
Manga.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Wait, what? Hull? Who the fuck's going to Hull?
No, it was the previous City of Culture.
Oh shit, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Hull. There's no H in Hull.
No culture either.
There's no culture.
No.
I always wondered how they picked those cities of culture. Because
At
there's
random,
been some-
apparently.
Yeah.
It ruined Liverpool when Liverpool got it in 2008.
You say it ruined it.
I've been
Ruined
thinking
it, yeah.
bang on and on about it.
I mean, I'm not sure you can ruin Liverpool.
You can, because
Exactly.
what happened was on the run up to it when it was announced, like the 5 people who basically own all of Liverpool bought up every spare bit of land and then knocked down any building they could and built a load of rubbish crap. So
Yeah.
they took all these like old historical buildings, like the all the dockland that the bits in the very first Captain America film, First Avenger, where he's like running through the streets after he's just broken out of his thing and running after the cars and stuff after he's had the upgrade, and he's running through all these like dockland areas. That was all filmed in the old dockland areas of Liverpool, which has now all been like redeveloped and scrubbed, and all these like polished glass buildings are there now instead of all these like hundreds of years of maritime culture and stuff.
What shit? Did you know that the London Docklands Museum is free entry and also has the largest... It's not free, you've got to buy me a beer. The largest... because obviously the Docklands area had loads to do with the slave trade, but it's the largest exhibit on the slave trade in the UK, and it's the only permanent one.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I learned that today. It looked, and the actual museum itself looks really interesting, because I like museums and stuff. I've been to a
The
museum
Liverpool
in-
Maritime Museum one's good as well. It's got a lot of stuff,
The
but
one-
obviously not as big as the...
The one in Falmouth is shit. I've been 3 times. Once, the first time I went, I was extremely hungover and it was awful. The second time, I was less so, and the third time, I was completely sober and it was still just meh. But yeah, I haven't been to a.
You ever completely sober?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No one's ever really gone.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Museums?
Something
Yeah.
about
When you off to Docklands Museum then?
Well, next time I'm up in London, which I don't know when that will be. Although I do need to go up to London and see Ali because they.
Up to London, that's such a weird...
I was just thinking the same.
Well, to some of us.
Yeah. It's,
Oh yeah, I know how geography works. I just...
And
Literally-
Cartesian geometry.
Yeah, the only place that's down from here is Plymouth.
I can't get any lower than this.
I love how Al's function in this podcast is to just throw out like movies.
This podcast.
I've heard you speak on the others.
I'm too busy looking up the first Captain America film, the really terrible one from the 1990s.
I was too busy.
Oh, that was so good.
You guys
Am I
spent the
good
last
at it?
5 minutes referencing a bunch of stuff I don't know anything about, but I was looking back into the Liverpool manhole cover that's a ley line.
Oh,
And,
yes.
You know, Matthew Street or whatever.
The one outside the Cabin Club.
I believe so. Yeah.
It's a direct line to Reykjavik.
Iceland.
Yeah. And fuck, who was it?
Drummond.
That's it, yeah. And stood outside of it. And like, didn't he spend like 70 hours on it, stood on it for his birthday? No, he spent 12 hours stood on it on his 70th birthday or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Because the
What was
powers
that
of
on?
the universe they come together right there.
Was that on No Such Thing as a Fish or something?
It might
do I
have
know
been
that?
Steve. You're the one that suggested that to me, and all the podcasts get confusing except for this one and the
No, this one gets confusing.
1/3 looked at, 2/3 focused, whatever. Yeah, that one.
I think you found it's 2/3 good.
Ah, right. Yeah, yeah.
2/3 not Rasmus.
Oh my god! I hope I can. I hope I can be a guest on that podcast sometime and call the episode that.
Just out of interest, Steve, there is a good maritime museum in Hull.
Is there? Oh. I really want to go
It's
to
a rich history.
Apparently, Grimsby. Grimsby.
Okay, old Grimsby.
Grimsby has a fucking obviously amazing like fishing and fish capturing place, and there's a really small
classic fish capturers
fish
out there with the
capturing
traps.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Ghostbusters style traps to catch fish.
It's a single cage for one fish. Got him.
Yeah, apparently they've got a really good museum up there as well about the history of that.
That's all they have in Grimsby, isn't it? It's fishing.
Yeah. And wasn't there a Sacha Baron Cohen?
No, it didn't happen.
Did it not?
Mark Strong definitely was not in that film.
One of those. I say because I've not seen it, and yeah. Hagfish are cool, aren't they?
Well, that's been the recent thing, hasn't it? Around the last week or so on the internet, that like the blobfish is only ugly.
When it's out of water,
lack of pressure.
Yeah.
Whereas when you put it in the place,
hang on, what's
Does that explain northern birds?
I got that one.
What's that got to do with hagfish?
Well,
Maybe they're ridiculously handsome at their
what are
at the
your
correct.
slang terms for such things, Steve?
What?
What? Nothing. Let's move on. Next question.
You look so confused and called out. Then nothing. Carry on.
we knew this was going to be carnage, but
Pokemon reference.
I'm literally got tears.
Yeah. The thing is, I keep thinking that I am actually in charge and going to be like, oh, I should fill this space, but I'm not in charge.
You're in charge
You're
of
not in
6
charge.
Pokemon.
Only ever 6.
And a typical Steve, he just uploads the rest to the computer to me to look after.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't need to run this, so you guys are on your own. I'm going to go back to the chat. What's wrong with
We get guests for the hell of it.
Al's Hack Shack, how would you cook a hagfish?
Just like a long battered sausage.
Yeah. Do you reckon though you could like cook it in its own protein, like the slime? Like, do you think you could eat the slime? Or
It'd be like a jelly deal, so you like it.
Yeah.
It sets itself in like a terrine. Or get a
like a cross between a sausage roll and a pork pie?
No, like a gala pie. So you take the egg yolk out of the middle, and you just have
Just put a hagfish
the
in.
fish dick down the middle of it.
See, if this were our podcast, I would be having such a difficult time figuring out what's the intro. Because Al's had some real zingers so far.
Also, there's a load of people that are just frantically googling what the fuck is a hagfish?
I'm gonna wager there's half the people are googling that, the other half are googling fish dicks.
Well, then that's just going to lead him to a Kanye West South Park episode.
Yes.
For those of you that
Apparently
are
it's still really
ever wondering, there is a thing called long egg, which you can buy in the catering industry to go into a gala pie. You're thinking there's some sophisticated cylinder system, but there's not.
But see,
Not like
I had
one of those rollies.
I just learned yesterday that when a chicken starts producing eggs for the season, the first few can be kind of misfires or misshapen, and there was a long egg yesterday that was abnormally long torpedo-shaped egg. And she's like, yeah, there might be 2 yolks in it, or it might have an actual egg inside of that
Egg in an
shell.
egg.
Yeah.
Didn't
That's
know
what you
that.
said about misshapen. I was thinking like hexagonal or like
No, like think just ping pong ball. Perfectly.
Oh yeah, no, I've had round eggs before. They're great.
Yeah.
Round
But
eggs.
you can get like really like weird knobbly ones if the chicken's like super stressed, the shell doesn't form properly and it comes out looking almost like tree bark. It's weird.
Who's
I
gonna
do not really
start
want
the
them
first
stressed
farm
as
of
well.
just like constantly stressed, boutique chicken eggs that are
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Japanese haven't started like putting molds up inside them, So you get like a little like
The cube.
skull egg, or you know.
Oh my god, can you
They're doing
imagine?
the watermelons and
Yeah, exactly.
apples and
I
stuff.
don't mean because they're
Chicken
weird
man.
and freaky and kinky. I mean because they like to grow things in molds, Jimmy.
Yeah, for a practical purpose, not a usual
Yeah.
Japanese sex thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, a
It'll be like an anime
D20-shaped
thing.
egg. That's a great idea.
I would
Pyramid.
appreciate such a thing.
Ooh.
Oh, ow.
Look
Well,
at
that-
How do you crack a pyramid egg?
Carefully.
On top. Just want to go. Like you
You
used to
don't
with
need an egg cup then, do you? If you've got a pyramid egg.
Ooh, there
Terry
you go. It
Orange.
tables itself.
One tap and just. No,
I've
that
got
never
more
actually.
Toblerone. If we're talking triangular shaped chocolate, Steve,
Yeah, but you're not going to crack it open, are you? You're going to give it.
you
a tap on
can't. A
top and
Toblerone's made of adamantium.
Some of fucking
Concrete.
Terry's chocolate oranges now. They don't come apart anymore.
They do
That's
come
a
with
problem.
space dust in them, though.
What?
They
Do you know
do.
what's that sparkly shit
Glitter?
you can't give to kids? No, the tingly stuff on your tongue.
Cocaine?
Popping candy.
Oh,
Yeah.
cocaine.
Cocaine.
What's the tingly stuff on your gums?
To be fair, I haven't had a Terry's chocolate orange in a very long time. So,
They're annoyingly disappointed now. So
are they?
when they
Tiny.
did the down,
They used to
when
be
they
like
did
that.
the downsizing, yeah. It used to be, if I was on like a proper and really craving chocolate, I could have like half a Terry's chocolate orange, and that would be me done. And I could save the other half for next time.
Yeah.
Whereas now they've downsized them enough that it's not when you get to your max capacity of I can't really fit any more Terry's chocolate orange in my face. There's not enough segments left to warrant saving it, so you just have to kind of push through the pain barrier, eat the whole Terry's chocolate orange.
This
They've
just
made it
sounds like
just-
your cake analogy earlier, where like you're complaining about something that makes total sense to me. I just have to eat 5 of those oranges now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing is you make yourself feel ill by eating the whole chocolate orange because there's not enough worth saving at the end of it. You may as well just eat it. But if you
Yes.
stop halfway through, you don't feel like you've had enough.
Well,
This
there
makes
isn't a
total
halfway
sense. I take small slices of cake, just like you said, and I eat 5 of them, and there's not enough cake left to save it. You just eat the rest of the cake.
Exactly, yeah. Make the portions half the size so you can have twice as many.
There you go.
I'm still confused by the whole prospect of saving it for later.
What is
Yeah.
saving for later?
This is later.
Yeah. Saving it for Ron. Who the fuck's Ron? Later Ron. Have you never heard that? Oh,
Oh, Al got a face palm on
yeah.
that.
Saving that for
I've
Ron.
never heard you say a dad joke before, Steve. You
That wasn't me saying it. It was other people saying it.
it's definitely you saying it.
I was.
Tell you what I discovered today.
Cocaine.
You know Jaffa cakes. Jaffa cakes, yeah, they're chocolate. There's
Yes.
some cake and there's some jelly stuff inside. Walking around one of our local Tesco's and spotted Tesco make a Jaffa cake. So it's not a single round small
Oh, yeah.
biscuit type thing. It's actually a full size cake, which consists of
It's one
Cake.
serving. One
Chocolate.
serving.
with
That was how the whole
Orange
thing,
stuff in
the
between.
whole is it a biscuit, is it a cake thing?
Yeah.
That was part of. There was a whole legal battle with McVitie's because of the whole
VAT.
thing with VAT on all that rubbish.
Luxury
I think we
items.
talked about it when I
Yeah.
was on.
Yeah.
But they baked like a 12-inch one.
But Andy, is the jelly to cake ratio not way off because you decrease the surface area?
well,
I just
it's-
imagine this massive, dense,
Yeah.
dry cake and a thin, little, pathetic Tesco sliver of jelly.
no,
Unless everything is
jelly
scaled
bits.
up in proportion.
Let's see if
But
I
the
can-
vol- I think if they
Didn't they used to do the cake bars where it had the jelly in the middle? Like a Twinkie,
Yeah.
but with orange jelly.
They were good, but the Joe Nut that they do at the minute is disappointing. But
Yes.
there was a
Right.
Mr.
It
Kipling
actually looked a
French
bit
fancy
like.
that they did as a big cake.
all right.
I'll post that on the group later in the Filter Tools.
Is that some sort of dairy?
It looked almost like a
layer?
cheesecake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked almost like a cheesecake.
Oh, they're taking
So-
liberties with that. I'm not.
So you had
Hang on,
I mean,
It's
Sorry.
actually a pasta sauce.
Angel Delight, right? Get the butter.
Brett's like, what the fuck is going on? Brett thought he'd got he'd got where he needed to get to with Jammy Dodgers. Now he's like, what are you talking about?
I was genuinely going to Jammy Dodgers next. What the hell?
So get a butterscotch Angel Delight, whip it up, pour it into your bowl, then let it set for like 5 minutes, and then pour the chocolate one. Like do a chocolate one and pour that on top, and it's like an Angel Delight version of the rodeo yogurts, and it's fucking delicious because it's just like having a giant rodeo yogurt.
Ooh, roller
Top
yogurt
tip
sounds
for
good.
Angel Delight. You know those little things that you get for frothing the milk in your mug, where it's just like a little coily spring thing on the end of the thing. Yeah. Do your Angel Delight, whip your Angel Delight up with one of those, because it sets pretty much. Yeah, no, but if you use one of those, it pretty much sets instantly. The second you've done.
Brett, they're talking about pudding.
Yes.
Oh, you mean porridge?
Yeah, porridge.
Callback, super inside baseball. You're welcome.
God, I haven't had Angel's Delight in ages.
I want to know
Angel's
what this
Delight-
wagon wheel is.
Brett,
What is a
Angel's
wagon
Delight is like it's a powdered dessert. You literally get it in a packet.
wheel? Okay.
It is
I
the same
said
Pour it
product,
in,
but
you
we
mix
have
it. You mix
in
it
the
up with some
packet.
milk.
It was in the care package.
I haven't done that one yet, Steve.
Do it.
I
Do it
get
tonight.
I get it.
You mix it with milk, and it sets, and you get this kind of just this lovely puddingy confection.
Is it flan or custard or something, Al? Like our version of those things.
No.
It's flan.
Okay, flan. Flan. This makes sense. I'm going to blow Brett's mind with a wagon wheel, but spelled wagon wheel.
It's a wagon wheel.
He lives in Scotland.
The wagon wheel. It's a deep fried wagon wheel. With heroin in it.
Oh, can you imagine?
Jammy wagon wheels, though. Oh.
Well, they're more like bike wheels now, aren't they, rather than wagon wheels?
No, they're the
Yeah,
same size as they always
shrinky.
were.
You've
It's
just
just
got
our
bigger.
hands.
An
got
urban
bigger.
legend.
Yeah. But a lot of
Shrinkage is a
chocolate
real
bars
thing, though.
yeah, a lot of chocolate bars have got smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Because
cold.
Snickers used to be fucking huge, and now they're What's Snickers now?
The Reminiscent podcast. I remember cocaine.
This entire episode is talking things we did in the past.
Well, we can go to the future if you like.
No, it's
We can go back to the future. Fuck it, you've got genuinely never seen them before you said about it.
They were when we were kids.
No, they weren't. They were up north. They weren't down here.
And by up north, he means France.
Portugal.
Brittany, yeah.
Oh, I want to have deep fried porridge now. I bet that's delicious. Like a little crispy croquette, but sweet.
Ooh,
That would be really good.
with jam
Do
in
you
the
know-
middle.
So a bit like an onion bhaji, but with porridge.
Yeah, why not?
An oat bargee.
This is fucking brilliant. This is the best podcast I've ever been on.
this is the
So,
most
do you know-
confusing podcast I've ever been on.
One of the last cases of scurvy in the UK was of
Yes!
a student
From Leeds Uni.
who basically spent their entire student loan on they bought a load of oats and then made just oats and water in the bottom drawer of their chest of drawers, waited for it to set, cut it all up into bars, and then lived on that and beer. And
Oh, God.
I mean, isn't that just pretty much the same thing?
Yeah, exactly. One in bar form, one in drinking form. But yeah, ended up with scurvy.
At Leeds
I
Uni.
would have thought B would have all your essential vitamins and irons you needed.
No, you need Guinness and bananas.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
That's a
See,
great
I knew a
band
guy
name.
at university who did something
Did
similar. He didn't make a thing. He pretty much ate bananas, ice cream, beer, but he took some vitamin tablets.
Yeah.
So to make sure he didn't get
But
gut
it's not
anything.
difficult, is it?
No,
Yeah,
Or just
You can
eat
get
something
into
like
uni.
what's it, where they're fortified and they've got it all in.
What you said is
What?
if they'd have got
Yeah,
bar
you like
snacks,
shitty like crisps and snacks and like crap
Yeah.
breakfast cereal. They're all fortified with vitamins and iron, so you can essentially live on them.
No, like you get the giant what's it's now.
There you go. Yeah, that one.
That's like being a kid again because it comes in a massive bag and it's the same amount that used to be like of giant ones that are just the same amount of what's it's It's the small bags with the small ones in, so you just feel like it's being a kid, and it's fucking great.
I've got to interject. It's the Jaffa Cake theory again. If you've got a huge What's-It, the surface area to volume of What's-It decreases your cheesiness ratio.
No, because you still get your fingers are still covered in cheesiness.
Yeah, but the amount of cheesiness you're getting per grammage is not as much as the smaller the What's-It, the cheesier it is.
Yeah, but
it's like crinkle cut fries.
It disintegrates in like seconds.
Don't get me started on the physics of your massive What's-It.
Brett, like Cheetos, big Cheetos, would that work?
Just one Cheeto in a bag. Like an aeroplane pillow.
And in the middle of that Cheeto is a hagfish.
And jam.
Jammed in there in the middle.
You just
there's a huge
discrepancy.
discrepancy. There's a huge discrepancy over here. There's a line in the sand between people that like puffy Cheetos and the crunchy Cheetos.
Yeah,
like the
so
condensed
like
ones
Knick-Knack
versus the
Cheetos.
air puffed. And there
But
are
Knick-Knacks are great as well.
strong...
Are you a knobbly crunchy, Brett, or a puffy?
The Vampire Slayer.
A fluffy puffy.
I don't know. When you do it like this and say knobbly crunchy, I don't know. Things come to mind.
I mean, that's a thumbnail right there, isn't it?
There you go.
All I can think about now is scampi fries.
With hagfish?
With hagfish.
You actually mean scampi and lemon knickknacks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I went, because I was going to ask which is your favourite knick-knack flavour, and then I went to scampi and lemon, and then I went to scampi fries, and now I really want scampi fries.
You know what I don't want ever again from you, Steve, is hobnobs.
What? What's wrong with hobnobs?
I don't know. They didn't taste like anything.
I'm done.
You're wrong.
Alice left the room.
Perfect.
I'm not sure. He'll come back. He's, he can't quit us. But am I supposed to do something with a hobnob rather than just take it out of the bag and
dip it in
eat
tea?
it?
Dip it in tea or coffee.
Well, that would make things a little bit different, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
There
But
was
not
no
for too long.
directions on your care package, Steve, because it was not necessarily directed at me. And the one thing that made the most sense is put a straw in this thing and it tastes like peanut butter.
So, for those listening, Al has come back in with his name changed to #Hobnobs Forever with an A. Fucking hell.
I was given no direction on these things, Al. I thought they were just a snack.
Were they at least
fillings.
chocolate, Brett, or were they like just
No,
dry?
they were
plain?
plain,
Oh.
dry.
I was just going to say,
I
did
can
Steve not
understand.
send you chocolate hobnobs? I mean, that's
Cadbury
just...
did one years ago.
He didn't send me shit. He sent somebody else.
No, I sent you peanut drink, you fucking liar.
Okay,
Peanut drink
here's
instead.
no.
Peanut
Here's
drink.
the translation
Yeah.
of that is that
It's a peanut drink.
Steve sent me a thing that is unable to be purchased anywhere in the world for less than like 30 pounds per small little 6-ounce container. So what he sent me was basically heroin and was like, "You're welcome, but
You're
I don't
welcome.
have a
You're
dealer."
never getting this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, that peanut drink is fucking delicious. So, Al, if you
It
go
is.
into your Tesco's, into the World Foods bit, it's normally with like where the Milo and stuff like that is, like the
Another one you mean?
yeah. And have you had the peanut drink?
Mm.
It's fucking delicious. It's like liquid peanut butter. Oh,
If you just warm peanut butter in the microwave,
Steve's
it becomes
describing
liquid anyway.
groundnut oil. You can buy it in most. Makes great chips. I didn't know you could drink it though.
I think potatoes are better than for chips.
You're thinking of
Yeah, I kind of want to know. I know it's been a couple of minutes, but I kind of want to know where Lindsay, who chimed in the comments, stands on the Cheeto
Ooh.
debacle. Like, is it puffy or crunchy? Because I like the flaming hot Cheetos, but I've never seen those in a puffed form. I've only ever seen them in the crispy navi form.
She says just give her all the Cheetos.
Okay, she just wants all the Cheetos.
Can you get a mixed
So-
bag? You know, like you can get the Walker's mixed
No,
bag. Where it's
they do
different
not
crisps
do
in a
a
bag,
mixed
which is
bag.
genius.
I don't think they'd be able to because they definitely get away with the tricky crisps, right? Where a bag is actually about half air.
Ah, yeah, fuckers.
And the thing about the crunchy ones is like they're more dense, right? So you would end up having issues, I feel like, with how full could the bag be? I don't know.
Well, so I've been watching Food Wars recently, just binging that because
It's so good.
because it is exactly that. And they did one on crisps, showing the differences between the UK Walkers and the American Lays. And in the US, you get charged more for flavouring.
I think this is a different Food Wars.
I don't think he means the anime Food Wars.
No.
No. The YouTube channel where they do like a versus battle.
Yes.
So
I know
they'll
what
get
you mean.
like all of a particular thing from the UK and all of a
Yeah.
particular thing from the US.
We ordered everything on McDonald's menu and then we did it in
Yeah, but the crisps one, the just ready salted or plain or regular or original or whatever the hell they're called, they are charged at a set price per weight. But then if you've got flavour on it, they either give you a smaller bag or charge you more for it in the US. Whereas in the UK, it's just all the same price for the same weight.
Yeah.
Mm.
Americans
Oh,
are
is that?
weird. They don't
But it's-
tax on their
it's-
prices.
It's nitrogen that they put in the bags
Yes.
for both protection and preservation.
Yes.
Hmm.
Random shit.
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure random shit is the kind of title of this episode because
It could almost be it could be our alternate podcast name. We never have a plan.
Saying that, like, since putting that picture up on my stories of waffle iron, oh fuck! I need to. Jamie, can you remind me to ask Jim about welding cast iron? Because Pooch, that came down to do the filming, gave me a cast iron waffle iron that the hinge is broke on it, and I need to weld it back up. And I want to speak to Jim.
He'll-
to see
He'll
if
probably tell you to watch the latest This Old Tony video where he teaches you how to weld cast iron.
Yeah, but this Tony isn't as
Or
interesting.
Brett's Forge video.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Steve hasn't watched one of my videos in years, and I was going to actually bring that
That
up. But
video-
thank you for doing that.
That video came out years ago, so yeah, I have
So
seen
it's
that.
probably
one.
what he has seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, because it's tiny little delicate, and I think it might be easier to braise it on because it's only going to be at. But yeah, then I can make waffles in fire and
JB Weld. Just
Yeah.
put JB Weld on it.
I'm thinking if I braise it, then it'll look pretty. But then I'd have to make up the little bracket, which I'm gonna have to
Even
make.
if you
out
do
of.
it.
Yeah, I can.
Jamie
I
beat
can
me to
grind
it.
stuff back.
James suggests stick braising it.
I was going to say continue.
Oh, I wonder if James has
Yeah.
a very specific and expensive machine that does
I was
this.
I had the world's greatest
This is my
machine.
waffle iron braising 5,000.
That I bought from an auction for 12 pence.
in Skegness of all places.
Back in the city
Yeah.
of culture.
We've had a couple of food questions.
Shock.
From Neil from NMB Woodworks. Do munchie boxes only
Neil.
exist in Scotland?
I haven't seen a munchie
I'm
box
pretty sure
down
it's
here in years.
Is
Wait.
that like when you go to a kebab shop and you get like just a
No, I
meat
don't.
and
Selection of
cheese
everything.
and chips?
Oh no, I thought you meant like
sauce.
you get the box of Maltesers. I thought you meant that, but of the little munchies, as in the
Oh, those little square things.
yeah. I thought that's what you meant.
Oh, I haven't had
I
those
think
for a long
it's
time.
I think it's a thing you get from a kebab shop, which
guess it's
in
gotta be.
the Netherlands is called a hairdresser's.
Why?
Don't
It's
know.
just all the clippings they found on the floor.
I think it's all the clippings swept up off the floor, but it's delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
Niall, correct us if we're wrong. I think a munchie box is a
Yeah,
delicious
like-
tray of things.
like scraps.
Yeah,
Oh,
but like
pizza
it could
box
be like
Pizza
crisps
box
and
of
shit.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
pizza box of everything from the same.
Yeah,
place.
kebab meat.
The only thing this is reminding me of is the term Jersey Turnpike, and that's when the bartender at the end of the night takes the
Shits on your
splash
chest.
pad and puts that into
Yeah.
a drink and
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Some
gets rid of your
daft
tab
smile
if you drink it.
Yeah, we used to call that one of many variations on a dirty pint. We used to get the rugby team come in and be like, if we give you all of this and give a wad of cash, can you make that rugby player be sick because he scored the winning try? Sure, yeah. and just give them like the shit, and you'd get paid like 60, 70 quid to get them absolutely shit faced.
Wait, they did this. They did this at the door.
No, this is when I was behind the bar, and they like, so you just give them all the fucking.
When they walk into the IT suite.
Yeah, and maybe chuck like a shot of Sambuca or something in on top of it. They're fucking idiots. But that's rugby players.
Surely dribbling a bit of Bailey's in the top would do it.
Ooh.
To just get that coagulation.
No, Bailey's and Rose's lime cordial. So you put a little bit in, and they have to hold it in their mouth and turn it with their tongue. It's called a cement mixer because it curdles in the mouth.
Yeah.
That was always a good one to do straight after a Pernod's and Jack Daniels. Brilliant. Yeah. I was very good at making rugby players violently sick.
Imagine that really long drink with loads of crushed ice. I bet that's delicious. Jack Daniels.
Yeah. Probably is.
Oh my god, no. See, we've got another comment on the side that says, "I'll go one further and evangelize for thin Oreos. Oreos are made of cardboard, and they put this weird white substance in the middle that is meant to be some type of sugary cream.
Yep,
crack.
I think it's
none of it tastes of
cardboard.
anything.
I am.
Well, Morley posted something earlier, actually, which was an opinion that normal Oreos are better than double stuff Oreos.
Well, that's true because you're talking about a worse version of cardboard biscuits, and so you just add more cardboard in the middle. And
At least
I've
Bourbon's
never
like have a
understood
chocolate
Oreos.
filling.
Yeah, but
Or
custard cream.
proper custard cream.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I was going to say. That you can get the off-brand versions of those biscuits, and they do a bourbon biscuit that's the same form factor as a custard cream.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wrong.
So you can.
No, that's wrong.
But no, but this is.
I know
a
what you're gonna
round
say.
Wafer.
I know
So
exactly what you're going to say, and it's wrong.
I went to. So me and Matt Berry have got this kind
Well, I
of.
shaved the sides off them so they were proportionally right and just held them.
Well, no, this is the thing, because of the same form factor. You can separate a side from each, and then make a chimera bourbon custard cream hybrid, and then you
bourbon
give
cream.
it to Matt Berry,
I'm on
who
board.
doesn't like custard creams but likes bourbons, and me, who doesn't like bourbons but likes custard creams, and then he
And you
pulls-
could play a game of Othello with them.
Yes,
That is
That's a game I haven't
such a
played.
dated reference.
Yeah. Oh, Peter Miller, Fox's Gold
Yes.
Creams. Oh, yes.
all Fox's biscuits. Are.
Although, to be fair, the thing that I love about custard creams is the fact that they taste exactly the same gluten-free as the normal ones, which very few of the biscuits do. Despite the fact you don't need fucking gluten for a biscuit, they still use shitty flour and make horrible biscuits. It's really upsetting because you can't get a decent gluten-free digestive. They don't make them. It's upsetting.
Makes sense.
Sorry.
I feel like I've been a bit too spoiled by Jammy Dodgers. Just did everything I needed them to do, and I haven't explored outward much as far as.
You need to try the Fox's Jam and Cream then.
Yeah.
Because they are like the Jammy Dodger, just done a little bit more fancy.
Do I strike
All
you as a
Fox's
fancy
biscuits.
person?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can get too fancy. It's like sausages that are too posh.
I don't know.
Yeah, like burgers when they get too like no, I want
If I wanted that, I'd have had a steak.
I want ear rolls, eye rolls, and assholes in it. Like I don't want the finest cuts of meat. If I'm gonna have a fucking Chateaubriand, I want it as a Chateaubriand, not as a fucking burger. Yeah.
Steve's got very strong opinions about this, but now I'm having these images based on the Ash Ketchum hat, where it's like it's Pokemon, but Steve's main Pokemon is Murphy, and they just go around talking about how bad food is, or they go on food adventures together, and Steve tries to catch salmonella.
I don't think Murph has ever complained about food being bad. Like, he will eat literally anything.
Yeah, but you've complained about him eating bad food, and then what happens after the fact?
It's true.
Any creature that can lick its own bumhole doesn't really deserve to comment about food, surely.
Talk about Steve like that.
I was waiting for that. Ginger nuts. We haven't talked about ginger nuts. Ginger
Nice segue. That was actually a good segue.
I was just wondering who he was insulting.
I fucking love ginger nuts. Yeah, another one that's just.
But if they're good ones, they have to be dipped in tea or coffee, because if they're good ones, they're too hard to eat
Yes.
without
Break your
dipping.
teeth, yeah.
Yeah, but also they're the perfect size. So if you put them in whole and you don't dip them, and you put them in whole and crunch them, they get stuck between your teeth because they're too hard to actually break. So you just end up with this.
Like a ginger nut retainer.
Yeah.
Which
That's
again,
an entirely different thing. Yeah.
A fantastic band name there. Ginger nut retainer.
So we're saying that Steve likes to put ginger nuts in his mouth hole.
I mean, if that's what you want to take from this.
Andy just had to slide that one in there before.
That's what she said.
For a long.
Yay! Fucking hell.
You know what they say about
I think this is
innuendo?
why we
If in
avoid
doubt, just
talking
slip it in.
I think this is why we try to avoid talking about food as much as we already do on the podcast, because it just dives into this.
I don't know what you're talking about, Brett. I'm hungry.
I mean, you are kind of known as a bit of a food podcast
Podcast.
among some.
Yes.
As
It was, I think it was the sandwich tier podcast that we did that solidified that one.
That wasn't even a podcast. That was a transcript of a conversation that, in fact, it was a text conversation that me and Al had.
We just read out.
Yeah, that we
An audiobook.
Yeah, no, I think we put it on Patreon, and then we just posted it everywhere because this is too fucking good not to share. There was a very heated debate on the ins and outs of a sandwich.
Well,
Speaking of which, I had a sandwich before lunch. For lunch before this.
I forget the proper name for it, but it's like the taco theory of the sandwiches. You know, where you can categorize all things food related by the number of sides that there is some. Well, no, it's things like the hot dog being, if the bottom of the bun is connected, so it's then taco shaped. It's actually a taco. That kind of thing of categorizing different types of food by its number of sides of a bready product that you can hold.
That's tough though, because I take pizza slices and fold them like a taco, and this just
sandwich.
Yeah, to make a calzone.
yeah, but calzone's just
no, but you've got to eat it like that. If you turn it on its side, sandwich.
Yeah.
Calzones, I start in the middle though.
It's just a pasty.
Like
that's a
pasty.
pasty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I forget, one of the best bits of advice that Al has ever given on our podcast, which I think needs sharing on this one as well, is season your sandwiches. Like, don't if you're making a sandwich, season it.
Yeah.
Like, so many people don't know that, and it's important to season your sandwich because it's food.
Does this apply to all sandwiches, like a lemon curd sandwich or a jam sandwich?
Yep. Yeah, peanut butter and jam, salt. Don't leave it out.
Strawberry jam, bit of black pepper.
Yeah. Oh, that's what flavour is for. Right. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beans on toast is pizza.
Beans on toast is pizza.
I like that. I will say that the first time I had a full English breakfast, I was beyond impressed, because even though I feel like Americans definitely overdo their amounts of food per meal, the first time I had a full English, like cooked well with the blood sausage and all the things,
Black pudding,
black porridge, I feel like that's the way breakfast should be enjoyed on a regular. And since we didn't get anything like that in university over here, made me feel bad that I feel like that would have been more of a hangover cure than all the things I tried, which were terrible pizza tacos or whatever sandwiches we're referring to now. I never had anything that could really cure a hangover. And with as destroyed as I've felt plenty of times traveling just from lack of energy, a full English will just put me down for a nice nap and a full recharge.
It's the range on it. You've got everything you need.
It's all the electrolytes and none of the dairy that's sitting on top of lots of acidic stomach acid then.
Yeah.
It's just...
And it's very important that wherever you go, because I think the best full English breakfasts aren't ones that are cooked at home. They're ones from a dirty, greasy spoon, and it has to come with
Travel cafe,
yeah, like a proper dirty. Like the best one I ever had is the Station Cafe in Sherborne, because it's on the train station, so it's a proper travel cafe. But they've got to come with bottomless tea, as in like they just keep refilling your tea. If they make you pay for an extra cup of tea,
it comes with your own pot of tea.
yeah. If they make you pay for more tea, then that's not good.
Went for one after the sports ball a couple of weeks ago, and it was a classic greasy spoon, like you say, Steve. Bottomless tea, fried bread and toast, and bread and butter.
Nice.
The Holy Trinity. And it was like, can I have
and chips?
No chips, hash browns. And it was like, can I have you're thinking of brunch, Andy. And then I was like, can I have a glass of orange juice to go with my tea? It's like, oh, we haven't got any orange juice. We've just got like cans of pop. I was like, oh, I can't have a can of pop.
Yes, you can.
We've got slush puppies.
Yes.
So I had a massive, like, blue and red mixed slush puppy. Absolute game changer. It's good. That's the gold standard from now on.
That's fucking amazing.
Hot tea, glass of crushed ice. Like all the sugar you need.
They have a slush puppy machine.
I have no idea.
That's fucking genius. Oh.
Like you said
But
about
now
the
that's
proper cooked breakfast, you know you're in a good cafe when you've got through it, and then you're making that decision at the very end as to whether or not you do wipe the grease off the plate. That's where you're at that point of.
No. There's no decision there.
It'll be equal parts bean juice, tomato innards, egg yolk, and grease.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can see the different colours as you wipe your bit of bread round.
Yeah,
you can see the different coloured streaks.
Like the Turin shroud.
Wow. To some people, I feel like this would be a really disgusting conversation, but this is just making me super hungry.
Yeah. I'm definitely cooking once we get
So I like to finish a full English breakfast by keeping a kind of a little selection of things to stack together to then wipe the plate. So yeah, there'll be obviously a bit of toast or fried bread, or whatever.
Or tatty scone
available.
for the Scotch listening in the audience.
Ooh. Yeah.
Do like a tatty
or
scone.
potato cake, the Irish one. But I'll keep one of the egg yolks, a little bit of sausage, a little bit of bacon maybe, and just make a little stack. It's just kind of a mouth-sized stack to wipe around, and then just finish off with that. That's kind of.
I mean, it's not surprising that Andy would be such a methodical.
As I say,
eater.
My favourite way to really piss off my dad is as he's getting towards the end of a meal, just reach over and just steal one item of something off of his plate, because he plans out from like the first bite to make sure that he's got like the perfect combination with every single bite, and he makes sure that he's got enough left over to do that at the end. It's so much fun to just be like, I'm just gonna pinch a bit of bread. For fuck's sake! And you see him, he has to rearrange everything to try and get it into equal. Such a dick.
I don't know why, but in our family we called that geography. So the calculation of the amount of food left on your plate to get to the end.
Brilliant.
To Andy's point, to have this wonderful final little canopy of
I'm just seeing the like a darts players kind of.
It should have been called the checkout, but for some reason we called it geography. Yeah. So we'd always fuck with each other's geography, like you said, Steve, nicking the last chip or nicking the last bit of this.
I genuinely got a scar on this thumb from trying to steal a bit of pizza off my brother's plate for that exact reason. He just stabbed me with a fork, just bang.
I've still only met maybe one other person that eats chips the way that I do, like your chips
vertically.
No, like you get a bag of them or whatever the container is, and
crisps.
what I tend to do. What?
Crisps.
French fries, freedom fries, chips. So you take them and you dump them out on whatever your work surface is, and then I eat them in an organized fashion. So it's either like all the short ones go first, because those are just so crispy and done.
All the edges.
You might as well just get them out of the way. Yeah. And then you have to eat all the ones of the same length.
Size.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I want one that is like perfectly, or a stack of perfectly similar lengths, so that I can take one nice swath of ketchup and pop them in. And they have to be eaten that way. There's no other way to eat French fries as far as I'm concerned. And I've met maybe one other person that does this, and it looks serial killer-esque with this
Yeah.
approach to eating something so completely unnecessary.
It was dressing them up in little clown outfits, Brett, that did it. It wasn't the order you ate them in.
I mean, it's not far off from like ripping open the corner of a packet and individually like putting dots of ketchup down them, because no one does that. But
Or drawing the face so that you've then got the eyes, and then you've got the chips.
The
The
baby
eyes.
Jesus.
I like to eat the eyeballs first.
To be fair, at least you're not dipping them in fucking milkshake. The amount of
Hey,
Hey.
Frosties and
go with that.
French fries are.
It's
Hey, ice
not
cream.
right. No.
McFlurry.
Oh, speaking of Frosties and ice cream, fucking, I don't know what you mean by Frosties, but
Frosties are ice cream, Steve.
Sugared golf.
I was thinking of the breakfast cereal. So, Wheatos. So Wheatos and
Chocolate
ice cream,
Cheerios.
but with cheap like vanilla ice cream, like soft scoop ice cream. Mix the ice cream up a little bit, so it's just like it gets that weird consistency. Then put your Wheatos in, mix that up. Fuck me, that is the best, most delicious yum, 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 ever. But obviously, I can't have it anymore because Wheatos have got wheat. So fuck.
Is that what it is in the name?
Yeah, I know. Clues at the name, isn't it? Dick.
So,
Still
somebody
like
Be
posted
the
on,
name after
Cocoa
Professor
Pops.
Wheato, dickhead. Got nothing to do with the ingredients.
It was the fucking look on the delivery. It was brilliant.
Just imagine him as an Irish guy now, Wheato dickhead.
so somebody posted on Facebook a couple of days ago a Twitter feed, which I couldn't find because I didn't actually go on Twitter to have a look for it. So it's probably kind of from last year, and it was going to be sort of classic ones where a pile of companies start sort of chipping in, and they started off with Weetabix posting about
That was
tweeting,
yeah.
having innocent smoothie on your Weetabix instead of milk. And then there's a whole pile of companies, you got Nando's and KFC all sort of chiming in.
Well, no, because Weetabix did that, didn't they? And then Innocent Smoothie came back and said, "We wouldn't do that." So then that was when they decided to put baked beans on Weetabix.
Yeah, that came through in the kind of just the collated feed that I saw.
Yeah, but that was what it became, this big explosion of all the marketing people on Twitter for the course of a couple of days. Of, like you say, like just about every company going, including like local police forces and all sorts of weird and wonderful people.
Yeah, West Yorkshire Police saying, although this is a crime against breakfast, please don't call us.
Yeah.
The thing is, I have to go to these fucking meetings with these people. They say things like, "We need people to eat more Weetabix. What can we do?" And it's like, "How about not for breakfast?" And then you end up with like designing packaging with beans on it for Weetabix.
Yeah. Was it one of you that I was talking to about someone that used to put butter on their Weetabix and eat them?
That's just standard.
No,
That's
it's
a
not.
bit of a northern thing.
Well, I mean, butter on anything, Steve.
Well, yeah.
It's not going
Butter
to
on
not
shredded
improve
wheat.
it.
Yeah, this is very true. But
Butter
yeah,
on
like,
Wheatos.
As a kid, we used to have butter on shredded wheat.
Yeah, boom.
what? This is a whole. So
When I was a kid, we used to have some crazy things. Yeah, sugar sandwiches,
Yeah, of course.
condensed milk sandwiches.
Ooh.
Pudding, a banana with condensed milk was a regular pudding.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I used to have bananas and custard all the time, and bananas and custard creams. That was a fucking delicious.
Call back.
Yeah, no, right? Linked back in, and that
We did. No, fuck off, Steve. We did a very small bowl.
we're not doing. This isn't our podcast. We're not doing spiffing. It's fine. You can carry on.
Oh, okay, perfect. I was planning on doing that anyways, but thank you. We would get a bowl. Mom would cook, or she would bake cornbread. Very simple little dish to eat, usually with dinner. But you take cornbread and you just pour milk on top of it, and it was a fantastic dessert because it's just milk and corn, and it's probably the cheapest dessert you could possibly eat. And I believe it was born from my like southern or Midwest roots But I tried making it years later just to see like how fulfilling of an after dinner treat it was. It's not, and I'm pretty sure it was just the way that you can feed a family of 5 for under $2.
Well, a lot of really, really obscure dishes in the UK have come out of like rationing from World War II. You know, there's like weird, all those things like sugar sandwiches and that kind of explosion once the sugar ration was left.
Yeah,
Carrot tea.
What?
dude? Is that just putting a carrot in hot water?
Yeah.
Al?
Well, no, because you can get like 5 cups out of it before you've got to throw the carrot.
Oh, okay, I got it. Steve, I did the peanut butter bread again before we left town.
Yes.
I did another peanut butter bread, and the next time I do it, I'm going to be changing the ingredients a bit to see how far we can push it in other directions. But I don't know if you two, Andy or Jamie, heard me talking about that. But Steve found this Great Depression peanut butter bread recipe that has 4 ingredients and is amazing.
It looks
Peanut
amazing.
butter bread.
It's that's the Kiel recipe.
Yeah, but you can just sack off the bread for Kiel's recipe.
That's just Kiel turning a peanut butter jar upside down,
In a
putting it in a loaf pan. I have made bread.
That was the best Kiel impression ever.
Steve, I've secretly been working on it for like 3 years now.
Do you know what I really miss? Kiel Watch.
Let's bring it back.
Yeah.
In a couple of months, maybe.
2 months away.
Yeah, there you go.
Exciting.
Caro's right. Steve spends too much time on TikTok.
That's true.
She's right.
What else am I supposed to do when I poop?
Read it like the rest of us.
That requires reading. I can't read. Ugh. John's made that bread.
Of course he has. John's a
John
delightful human.
John made it first time round.
Oh, you can't be mean to John.
John knows
It's
I
like
love him.
kicking a puppy.
It's like-
So I
like
noticed we're down to
kicking a-
687 members in the Facebook group now.
Oh shit! Have I been kicked again?
No, one of Andy's is left.
Yeah, there's actually only like 30 real people in there. The rest of them are all just Andy's different accounts.
Or
Maybe.
Al.
It's so that Andy can control the majority as often as he needs to.
Yeah,
So he's dropping.
control the voting. Yeah,
There you go. That's it.
manipulation of the numbers.
Wait, Andy,
if
can
I-
you do
if I-
something
if
similar
I-
for
if I
all
cl-
of our YouTube channels?
Well, I was just going to say, if I close all my YouTube accounts, then yeah, half the people on YouTube will be no longer able to monetize.
I knew there was a reason Jimmy was still hanging over 1 million and growing.
Yeah,
Right,
that's not my accounts.
Are we getting to that point where we've got to start, thinking about maybe wrapping it up so you guys can actually?
I do have to pop. Off
You
to,
guys have all
off
got
to,
stuff to do and things.
off
haven't
to
you?
do things. Yes.
I've got
Yeah,
a
it's
snap.
for those who came along expecting a record-breaking event. The sad news
Boys
is
have
that,
spoiled the fun by
apparently
having
they're all
lives
busy.
and stuff.
yeah,
You've got
I was just
photography briefs
disappointed
to
about
write.
the fact that he said he's got a pop. I said I've got a snap, and Al didn't say anything.
I've got a
Al's
shit.
just been crackling away anyway.
It's the Baileys, Al. It's the Baileys and hobnobs.
oh no, that could work.
It'll go through you.
Well, it's the old thing of putting Baileys on your cereal at Christmas, isn't it?
Oh, hobnobs on your cereal. Around.
Like,
my
like when you're doing a like when you're packing the skip, you're gonna like stuff the hobnobs on the side of the bowl.
Surely that is how all meals should be approached, Jimmy.
Just lay them in like a flower. Oh,
I've got to get some chocolate covered hobnobs so I can change my mind about
You
these.
should
Dark
yeah.
chocolate.
I said
Okay.
before, Cadbury
Class.
did one that was chocolate coated chocolate chip.
Wasn't the fucking
hobnob.
hobnob though, was it, Jamie?
Well, no, exactly. It wasn't it? But it was
It was an oat disc.
exactly. But they did those oat discs, and you could dip them in a brew and watch like half your brew disappear into the thing, and it would stay.
Ooh.
It's like super structurally sound.
You know what? After all this discussion and what you just said, Jamie, I think Oreos. Well, no, there's no saving Oreos, but I would love to see a biscuit that could engulf your entire drink and then just have this nice soggy sweet treat.
We do have those in the UK, but they're
Weetabix.
like big chunky yellow things with like a green furry bit on top. You tend to get them near the kitchen sink.
Oh, right. I know. I saw a couple of owls, but they were next to.
Twinkies,
they were on
right?
a nightstand.
But it needs to be something that will stay together, though.
I mean, there's the Tim
Because that would
Tam
be
straw.
perfect for tea dueling.
Which works really well with the Twix.
Ooh,
Two
no,
Twixes.
get
2 drinks,
yeah.
1 tea, 1 coffee.
Penguin,
One
one corner
cup.
off each. Yeah, opposite corners on the rectangle. And
Yes, the Tim Tam Slam.
Yeah.
But done with
Oh, yes,
penguins.
yeah, I suppose that's what Tim Tams are, aren't they? That's sharp.
Running out of ideas already, guys. Okay, something to work on. It's going on the chalkboard when I get home. How to make a peanut butter bread loaf that will take in all the moisture from
I know.
full cooked tea.
Right, so get your peanut butter bread loaf, put a hagfish in the middle of it.
With a long
And then
neck.
you suck the liquid up through the hagfish.
When you put it in, the hagfish will squirt out all of its proteins. That'll turn the tea or the coffee to jelly, and then when you pull it out, it'll be like a lump of jelly on the end.
Oh, it's the most disturbing image.
If anyone going to make a central lives near a really good fishmonger's and get a hold of some hagfish, please
I
do.
don't think you're going to find
Slap
it.
Steve around the face with it.
This is the experimentation booth, right? This is
Well,
part
Brett,
of the
I think what you have to do is slice your peanut butter bread and then fry both sides in butter, and then you'd have
Peanut butter bread.
exactly the start of a great bit of.
I don't know why
beatboxing.
butter was so funny.
No, but the P-triple-B is going to be on menus coming soon.
P-triple-B. That's fucking inspired, Brett. Well done. Oh. So what were we supposed to talk about?
Well, I have to get
Waffles.
going soon. So.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes, my waffle iron. Fuck. Right, I'm gonna message Jim.
you messaged Jim. Do we need to tell?
Why
any
isn't Jim
of
in the
people
chat?
watching or listening where you lot can be found, or just assume
Is that a good idea?
everyone-
Steve could do.
I think
Steve could do
most
his
people should
outro.
know.
Steve could do his outro, and then we'll go for another 30 minutes
What?
because that's how
What's
Steve's
missing?
outro is.
Is this still the podcast?
Was that me?
That's what Steve sounds like.
Oh, okay.
Oh. What? I'm sorry, I was messaging.
I wasn't
Where-
listening.
Where can you
What's the
find all
catchphrase?
this? Where can you find all
It's
this?
more important
Steve?
than you two. Shut up. And you know it's true. What?
Do your outro.
Yeah,
Me?
where can,
What
where can
outro?
people find you, guys?
If you want to find us, you can find us in all of the usual social media places. You can find me at Moonshine Metalworks. You can find Brett at Skull and Spade 13. And you can find Jamie at The Custom Cave. You can find Andy at Andy C. Pugh.
Some places.
Yeah. And Tales from the Tinkerage. And,
Yep.
Thoughts from Thinkerage.
Thoughts from
Thoughts from
Tinkerage,
Tinkerage.
Maker's Waffle, Welshman's
and
Kitchen,
Maker's Waffle.
Physics Mag.
And yeah. And all of the basically just
Type random
Andy.
letters into,
Yeah.
into any of the social media stuff, and you'll find one of Andy's profiles.
Yeah. Or just go to literally any video on YouTube and look at the first comment, and it's from Andy.
Or any post on Instagram. Or
Yeah. And you can find Al at Al's Hack Shack. Ah, Hack Shack! There we go.
Oh,
Look,
God,
I'm wearing
classic
it.
one for you guys. Wow.
If you'll find us as a group, you can visit Maker's Waffle, or you can just go to the Fools with Tools group on Facebook, seeing as these guys have kind of adopted it as theirs as well, because
Yeah.
they're already in there.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. That's it.
Well-
Am I doing the rest of the outro?
No, I was
Well,
just about
we
to
can
say,
say
from-
bye.
on behalf of us, thank you guys for joining us. It's been an absolute delight.
Yeah,
I've
thank you for
got
joining
a
us,
bit
and thank you for doing Fools with Tools, because it's blooming awesome.
Cheers.
I appreciate
Dragging on
this
a
so
bit now.
much. Thank
Yeah.
you, fellas. This was super good.
I'll top up.
Yeah, I haven't laughed this much since I last touched a hagfish.
Enough about your previous partner.